So today I want to talk about active recovery now. For most ballers, they'll put their body through the rigors. They'll put their body through, hard, intense training sessions, which is 100% a good thing. However, after that, they'll probably just sit down all day. And now this sitting down can consist of, maybe they'll just sit down. Maybe it's a holiday, they'll sit down, and just watch TV, play, play on the PS5. Maybe they'll go to school. Maybe they'll go to school afterwards where they're just sitting down. Maybe where they work is more like an office slash desk type of job where they're just sort of sitting down all day. And the thing is with this is that after you've put your body through, a hard, intense training session and you're just sitting down all day, it's a good thing because obviously you're recovering, you're doing that's rest and recovery. You're just recovering, you're letting your body, rest after an intense training session. But in my opinion, when you just sit down for the whole day, you just sort of wake up that next morning and you're just feeling so stiff, you're feeling sore. I'm pretty sure we've all had that feeling where we just wake up in the morning. Maybe it's after a game, maybe it's after an intense training session. Maybe you trained twice a day that day. You wake up and you're just feeling sore, you're feeling so stiff. You get out of the bed limping, you can barely walk, and your body's just killing you. Your body's just absolutely aching, and you can't really train that day. So you tell yourself, okay, cool, I'm gonna have a rest day. Then you rest. Then you get up the next morning, your body's still sort of aching. You're like, I don't really want to train again today. So then you miss another day of training, and then you go to train on that third day. But then on that third day, after that third day of training, you sit down again all day, and then you wake up that next morning, you're sore again. So then you get into that pattern of like you train one day, then you miss 2 days of training, or you train one day, you miss another 3 days of training. So instead of you getting to train, being consistent, training, 4 or 5 times a week, you end up maybe only doing two times a week, maybe at best 3 times a week. You understand? So I feel like when you don't do active recovery, when you sort of just put your body through an intense training session, or you play a match and you just sort of sit down for the rest of the day. I know it's rest and recovery and it feels productive. It feels like you're letting your body just rest after everything that you've done. But trust me, that next morning you just wake up feeling so sore, so stiff, and then you end up taking 2 days or 3 days off, and you can never get into that consistent pattern of training and working on your game. You're missing out on just potentially improving so many areas of your game because like I said, you're missing 2 days at a time, 3 days at a time. So yeah, in my opinion, rest and recovery is great, but you need to start doing some active recovery. And literally, active recovery, like I said at the start of the video, it's not really a big thing. It's literally just whenever you get the chance, start to move your body around, even when you're not playing football. Just start to move your body around. Let's say you go to school, for example. Let's say you might have a training session before school. You might decide to just go out, maybe half an hour training before school. After you've after you've trained, after you've put your body through the ringers, literally just tell yourself, all right, cool. If your school's like, in my opinion, if your school's like half an hour away, just decide to walk to school that day. You know what I'm saying? Don't just get on the bus or get an Uber or something. So then you're just sitting down and then you're laying, and then because when you're sitting down, there's no sort of oxygen flow to your body. There's your muscles just start tightening up. They just start getting stiff, especially if you're not stretching as well. So in my opinion, active recovery, literally just go for a walk. Literally 20 minute, 30-minute walk to school. If your school's far away, I get it. You have to take the bus, take the train. But if your school's like a half an hour walk away, just do that half an hour walk, just so there's oxygen flowing in your body. Your muscles don't tighten up. Your muscles don't cramp up. And yeah, that's how you just basically prevent you waking up the next morning with stiffness, with soreness. Literally, just try and move your body as much as possible. I feel like a lot of professional athletes across all sports, there's an increase in injury because obviously the games are going up, the number of games are going up, but then these guys, I don't think they're doing their active recovery because if you think about, these guys are on the bus, they're on the buses, they're on the planes. Yeah, they're doing their stretching routines, which is cool. They're doing their stretching routines, they're getting their massages and all of that. But as soon as they get home, what are they doing? Most obviously, it's a new generation. Most of these guys, they're just going home. Maybe they're sitting down scrolling on their phone on Instagram, or they're playing on the PS5. They're all gamers now. Like most of the athletes now are all gamers across sport. Like footballers, basketballers, NFL players, they're all pretty much just gamers now. Some guys stream it on Twitch, and yeah, basically pretty much the whole gamers. So they're training hard. obviously their nutrition is probably good as well, but they're just sitting down the whole day. They're not going outside, going for a walk, doing that active recovery. So in my opinion, literally just make sure you're just moving. Even if you work a job where you're at a desk, literally, if you're if you train at work beforehand, or maybe you didn't actually train on your technicals, maybe you went to the gym instead. Yo, on your lunch break, literally just, even if your lunch break is like half an hour, literally just go take a walk, go take a stroll. So you're not cramping up. Your muscles are activated without actually fatiguing you. The thing is as well with rest and recovery is that it actually lowers your metabolism as well. Now, when I read about the metabolism thing, I was like, it makes so much sense, because me growing up when I was younger, like I've told the story many times before, that I got fat and I stayed fat. And the thing is that even though I was playing football, even though I was, playing football, training hard, maybe playing 3, 4 times a week, outside of football, I wasn't really doing much. I wasn't really doing much other activities. If it wasn't football, I was pretty much just sitting down, because think about it. If it wasn't football, it was school. It was just chilling in the house, watching TV, playing the game, doing homework. I remember I even went to a tuition center as well twice a week. So it was literally a lot of sitting down, which obviously, like I said, even though I was active with football 3, 4, 5 times a week, the rest of my lifestyle, I was taking the bus, taking the trains to school. I wasn't really walking to school, really doing much. I feel like, oh man, that's the reason I got fat, because I was eating, I was eating a lot of food. Obviously, I was eating, but I wasn't really burning anything off outside of football, like I said, because just the lack of movement. And I feel like that lack of movement, is what causes people to, feel stiff in the morning, feel sore. Your body's It can prevent you from training in back-to-back days. Obviously, it increases their injury risk as well. Like, have you ever just been lying down in bed, maybe after a training session, maybe after a game, and you're just lying down and you just feel something in your hamstring? You just feel like every one of my boys I've talked to, they all know that feeling. They're just lying in bed after a long day of activity, whether that's, like I said, the gym, working on your technicals in a training session. They've literally just went to bed and they just feel cramp somewhere, cramping their toes, cramping their hamstrings, their quads, their groin, just everything. For me, it's more my calves. Like, I used to get I used to get hella cramps in my calves, like it was crazy. But that's because literally we went to football, worked hard there, 1.5 hour, 2 hours, maybe even more than that, and then we all went home, and then we just sat down. Maybe some of us were on our phones playing games, doing home went home to do homework, doing whatever basically. And then we got to bed that night, and then we just felt the cramp. And then after that, even when the cramp went away, you wake up the next morning and you're absolutely finished, you're absolutely just shattered. So in my opinion, that active recovery is crucial. Make sure you're just moving. In my opinion, it's not even, I say active recovery, it's more just two things with active recovery. It's more just the stretching and just the walking, just the movement. Just, go outside, even if it's after a game, after training. Obviously, if your training is not too late at night, but let's say your training is like midday or something, literally after training, just take the 20-minute walk, put your headphones in, and just, literally just active recovery. Just tell yourself, yo, this is recovery. This is to make sure my muscles, don't tighten up. Nothing happens to me. I don't cramp up. Literally just take those 20 minutes, 30 minutes, put in your headphones, go for a walk, and then come back, maybe get a little stretching routine in. Like I said, it doesn't have to be, like a professional footballer. Like I've seen online, people doing like 45-minute stretching routines. You don't have to do it to that extent. Obviously, it's good, but you don't have to do it to that extent. But literally, a 10-minute stretching routine, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Trust me, every single day. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, once it compounds over time, you're gonna realize, you're gonna be like, all right, cool. Once you get to, um an older age, you're gonna be like, all right, cool. I don't really get too many injuries, but that's because of the active recovery, the stretching, just the walking around, just making sure that your muscles aren't tight, your muscles don't cramp up, and yeah, just basically prolonging your career. So that's all I got to say for this vid. I hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.